Imagine a land without a single drop of rain. For 3 long years, the sun beat down on the nation of Israel, rivers vanished, the fields turned to dust. And a desperate cry for water echoed through the parched land. Why? Because the king, Ahab, and his queen, Jezebel, had led their people away from God, choosing to worship an idol named Baal instead. But one man stood against the tide. His name was Elijah, a prophet of the one true God. And one day, God gave him a mission: go to King Ahab. It's time. When Elijah confronted the king, Ahab's voice boomed with anger. You're the troublemaker of Israel. But Elijah, unwavering, replied, it is not I who brought this trouble, but you, by turning away from God. Then he issued a challenge that would change everything. Gather all the people, he declared, and all the prophets of Baal. We will meet on Mount Carmel, and we will settle this once and for all. The stage was set on the mountain. On one side, 450 prophets of Baal. Confident and proud, on the other, Elijah stood completely alone. His voice cut through the silence. How long will you waver between 2 opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, then follow him. The crowd was silent. So Elijah laid out the terms. We will each prepare a sacrifice, but we will not light any fire. The God who answers with fire from heaven, he is the true God. The people agreed. This was the ultimate test. The prophets of Baal went first. They built their altar, prepared their sacrifice, and began to cry out, O Baal, answer us. They shouted, they danced, they even cut themselves in a frenzy, but from morning until noon, there was only silence. Elijah taunted them, shout louder. Perhaps your God is on a trip, or maybe he's sleeping. They screamed themselves hoarse, but nothing happened. Then it was Elijah's turn. He calmly rebuilt the Lord's broken altar with 12 stones. He arranged the wood and the sacrifice. Then he did the unthinkable. He had them drench the entire altar with water, not once, not twice, but 3 times, until water filled a trench all around it. There was no trickery possible here. With all eyes on him, Elijah looked to the heavens and prayed a simple, powerful prayer. Lord God, let it be known today that you are God in Israel. Answer me, so that this people will know that you are turning their hearts back again. In the silence that followed, a flash of light, a roar like thunder fire. Fire fell from the sky, consuming everything: the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, the dust, and even all the water in the trench. The people fell on their faces, their voices rising as one. The Lord, he is God. The Lord, he is God. Faith was restored on that mountain, and soon after, the heavens opened, and rain finally blessed the thirsty land. This story teaches us a powerful lesson. You don't need a crowd to stand for what is right, even when you feel alone, even when the situation seems impossible. Have faith. God's power is made perfect in our weakness. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires.
Did you know the Old Testament is packed with some of the most amazing and surprising stories ever told? Let's dive into 5 fun facts you might not have heard before. First up, people in the early Old Testament lived for an incredibly long time. Think about Adam, who lived to be 930 years old, or Methuselah, who holds the record at 969 years. These incredible lifespans show us a time when humanity was closer to creation, before sin's effects really took hold. It's a completely different world from what we know today next. Have you ever heard about the talking donkey? It's not a fairy tale. It's in the book of Numbers. A man named Balaam was on a journey, and his donkey suddenly started talking to him because it saw an angel blocking the path. This story is a powerful reminder that God can use anyone or anything, even an animal, to get his message across and to warn us when we're heading in the wrong direction. Now let's talk about rules. The Old Testament has a lot of them, covering everything from what to eat and where to how to farm and maintain public health. Found in books like Leviticus and Deuteronomy, these detailed laws weren't just about being strict. They were a practical guide for the Israelites to live as a holy, healthy, and organized community that was set apart for God. Then there are the mind-blowing miracles. We're not just talking about small wonders, we're talking about God controlling nature itself. He parted the Red Sea, allowing the Israelites to escape on dry land. He made water flow from a rock in the desert to save them from thirst. And in one famous battle, he even made the sun stand still in the sky so Joshua could win the fight. These miracles showed everyone that God has complete authority over creation. Finally, one of the most encouraging themes in the Old Testament is that God chooses unlikely heroes. Moses had a speech problem and didn't feel qualified to lead. Gideon saw himself as the weakest man from the weakest family, and David was just a young shepherd boy, overlooked by his own father. The stories prove that God doesn't look for human strength or status. He looks for a heart full of faith, humility, and a willingness to obey. So, from super long lifespans to talking animals and world-changing miracles, the Old Testament is full of incredible stories that show God's power and love in unexpected ways. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these facts, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories from the Bible. See you next time.
Long ago in the great city of Babylon, there lived 3 young men named Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were servants of God, taken from Jerusalem and brought into a foreign land ruled by King Nebuchadnezzar. The king built a massive golden statue and commanded everyone to bow down and worship it whenever music played. Anyone who refused would be thrown into a fiery furnace. When the music sounded, people fell to the ground in fear, everyone except the 3 young men. Officials quickly reported them to the king. Furious, Nebuchadnezzar summoned them and asked, "Is it true you will not worship my gods or my statue?" Calm and fearless, the 3 men replied, "Our God is able to save us from the blazing fire. But even if he does not, we will not bow." Enraged, the king ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual. Soldiers tied the men and threw them into the flames. The fire was so fierce it killed the soldiers who pushed them in. But then, something incredible happened. Nebuchadnezzar leapt to his feet in shock. "Did we not throw 3 men into the fire?" he asked. "Yes, your majesty," they replied. "Then why do I see 4 men walking freely in the fire, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods?" The flames did not burn them. Their clothes were untouched. Even the smell of smoke was gone. The king called them out and declared, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. There is no other God who can save this way." From that day on, the king honored their God, and the faith of 3 men changed an entire kingdom.
Daniel was a faithful servant of God living in Babylon under the rule of King Darius. Because Daniel was wise, honest, and hardworking, the king planned to make him ruler over the entire kingdom. This made the other officials jealous. They searched for a way to accuse Daniel, but they could find nothing wrong with him, except one thing: his faith in God. So they created a trap. They convinced King Darius to make a law stating that for 30 days, no one could pray to any god or man except the king. Anyone who disobeyed would be thrown into a den of lions. When Daniel heard about the law, he did not panic. He went to his house, opened his windows toward Jerusalem, and prayed 3 times a day, just as he always had. The officials caught him praying and reported him to the king. King Darius was deeply troubled because he respected Daniel, but the law could not be changed. With a heavy heart, he ordered Daniel to be thrown into the lion's den and said, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." A stone was placed over the entrance, and the king spent the night fasting, unable to sleep. At dawn, King Darius rushed to the den and cried out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God been able to save you from the lions?" Daniel answered calmly, "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the mouths of the lions. I am unharmed because I was found innocent before him." Daniel was lifted out of the den without a scratch. The king praised the God of Daniel and issued a decree that all people in the kingdom must honor the living God, whose kingdom will never end.